Listen, listen closely, for the world speaks in ways we often forget. The wind carries whispers, ancient and soft, through the canyons and the valleys, across the rivers that hum their eternal song. And the earth, she remembers. There are signs, subtle yet sacred, spoken only in the language of the skies, the soil, and the water. Among them, the dance of the blue butterflies, heralds of renewal, messengers of the spirits that walk among us unseen. The Zuni elders have long told of their coming. When blue butterflies dance where none have flown, the spirits of renewal walk among us. Hear this carefully. These are not ordinary creatures, nor ordinary days. They rise from places untouched, from lands abandoned or forgotten, and they fly where no human foot has tread. They come in silence, in waves of blue, carrying the breath of the earth herself. Rebirth, renewal, a whisper of hope echoing through the mountains and valleys. It is a promise that the scars of sorrow, the traces of suffering, do not mark the final word. The earth herself begins to mend, and she calls upon all who will listen to witness her healing. The blue butterflies move as though guided by a melody older than memory. Their wings shimmer like water under sunlight, reflecting the unspoken rhythm of life. They dance through meadows, across rocks, over rivers, and into the hidden hollows where seeds wait for the rain. In their flight, there is a story told without words, a tale older than man, carried in the flutter of wings delicate as whispers. Do not expect the world to recognize this moment. Many will not see them, many will not hear the earth's quiet song. But those who watch with their hearts, those who listen with patience, will know the meaning. The spirits of renewal walk among us not in thunder or fire, but in the gentlest of gestures, in the smallest glimmers of life returned. Each butterfly is a spark of life rekindled, a symbol of the delicate balance of all things. When they appear, the rivers that have been burdened with neglect begin to hum again. The trees, their roots deep in memory, stretch their branches to the sky, and their leaves catch the sunlight with renewed energy. In this moment, when the blue butterflies dance, the earth speaks. I remember. I forgive. I heal. And in that healing, humanity too can find its reflection. The elders teach that our actions are intertwined with the soil and the wind, with the stones and the sky. Every act of reverence, every small gesture of care, awakens the spirits of renewal further. Even the smallest act of kindness echoes in the earth, calling the blue butterflies nearer, coaxing the sky to shine a little clearer. Look for them where none have flown. See the first glimmers of blue in the forgotten corners, the hidden meadows, and the mountains that rise like ancient sentinels. They move with purpose, yet without hurry. Their flight is deliberate and soft, teaching the rhythm of patience and the art of quiet observation. They carry a message for those who watch. Walk gently upon the earth. Honor the rivers, the stones, the trees, the winds, and the skies. Remember that all is connected, and every action ripples through the unseen currents of life. The world has grown weary, heavy with sorrow and neglect. Yet, in the dance of the blue butterflies, there is hope. Even amidst despair, life renews itself, silently, persistently, like the river cutting through stone over millennia. And the message is clear. The earth heals first, and in her healing, she calls humanity to remember. Those who see the blue butterflies are reminded to walk softly, to act with reverence, and to open their hearts to the sacred rhythms of life. These creatures remind us of the cycles of existence, endings and beginnings, sorrow and joy, death and rebirth. They remind us that no suffering is final, no night eternal, and that renewal comes quietly, often unnoticed, but always present. The return of the blue butterflies is rare, a sacred signal that the earth, though wounded, is resilient. Life, though battered, persists. And when they dance, it is as if the very breath of the earth exhales, scattering seeds of hope into the hearts of those who are willing to witness. Those who follow them in spirit, not in pursuit, find the true meaning of patience and observation. To chase them with desire is to miss their gift. To watch with humility and reverence is to receive the message of renewal. The Zuni elders remind us, when the blue butterflies dance, it is not just the earth that awakens. It is the spirit of humankind itself. Glimpse their wings shimmering like the sky reflected in still water. See their flight as a song of creation, older than memory, older than time. They bring healing not only to the land, but to the hearts of those who witness them. The earth whispers that suffering is not the end, and those who listen may find solace. The butterflies teach patience, reverence, and faith. They remind us that we cannot force the world to heal, nor command it to mend. We can only walk gently, with awareness, and let the rhythm of life guide us. In the moment of their dance, the cycles of the earth are clear. Life emerges from the dark, the seed sprouts through stone, the river flows despite drought, and the wind carries stories of what has been and what may yet be. Those who witness the blue butterflies know that life, fragile yet resilient, always finds a way. It is a reminder that the earth and humanity are bound together, and that renewal begins quietly, in small, unassuming acts, yet expands outward, touching all it meets. And now, listen more deeply, for the earth's voice grows clearer with each heartbeat of the wind, each rustle of leaves. She speaks not only in whispers, but in the delicate flutter of wings, the shimmer of blue across forgotten lands. The blue butterflies rise from the corners of the world where human eyes rarely gaze. From arid deserts, cracked with age and longing, they lift into the air like sparks of sapphire, carrying messages older than memory. In their flight, the rivers bend slightly toward them, and the rocks seem to remember the steps of ancestors who once walked these lands. They appear when the soil is ready to forgive itself, when the streams have washed away enough of sorrow to allow new growth. And the mountains, silent sentinels, nod their peaks toward the sky, acknowledging the sacred return. Those who watch them must learn to breathe with the earth, not against her. Inhale the wind as it bends through juniper and pine. Exhale slowly, offering your own spirit in quiet devotion. The butterflies respond not to sight alone, but to the awareness of the soul. They sense the reverence in hearts and dance more freely where they are honored, more brightly where humility is present. Their color, it is not merely blue. It is the blue of untouched sky at dawn, of water clear and deep, of eyes that have known both grief and joy. It is the color of hope made tangible, of life restored, of the sacred song of existence. And when they move together, in synchronous waves across the land, it is as if the sky itself has descended to the earth. The spirits of renewal walk among us in these moments, not visible to the eyes of the hurried or the distracted, but unmistakable to those who pause and remember. They move with the butterflies, invisible threads weaving through wind and light, stitching the torn fabric of the world. And humanity is called to remember its own brokenness. The earth whispers, "See what I mend, and know that you too may mend. See what I nourish, and know that you too may nourish." The blue butterflies are guides, carrying a mirror to our hearts, showing us what is fragile, what is resilient, and what must be healed. Do not underestimate the power of small things. The touch of soil, the gentle word, the act of kindness, they all ripple outward, drawing the blue butterflies closer. For the earth does not heal alone. She heals with those who remember, with those who act in quiet care, with those who honor the sacred balance of life. And so the dance continues. From dawn to dusk, the butterflies trace invisible patterns across the meadows and hills, their paths marking the geometry of renewal. They move with patience, circling the tallest trees, dipping into shaded groves, and rising with the currents of warm air. No wind can disturb them. No storm can scatter them completely. For they are guided by something older than time, by the whispers of the earth and the spirits of renewal themselves. When you see them, know that it is a call to observe the cycles in your own life. Look at what has withered, what has been abandoned, what has been left to neglect. See how life persists despite these conditions. See how new sprouts pierce the hardened ground, how streams continue to flow, how seeds sleep quietly in the soil until the right moment comes. The blue butterflies dance among the dead leaves and fallen branches, teaching that even decay contains life, even endings carry beginnings, and even sorrow harbors the seeds of joy. The earth, in her wisdom, teaches that renewal is never abrupt. It is slow, deliberate, and often hidden from casual view. Those who chase quick miracles miss the sacred timing of nature. Those who learn patience see the true meaning of renewal woven into the rhythms of seasons, cycles, and the gentle flutter of delicate wings. And the spirits of renewal, they watch, they guide, they remind. They are present where grief has lingered too long. They hover over lands scorched by fire, over rivers choked with neglect, over valleys where silence has reigned too long. Their presence is subtle, yet unmistakable to those who are attuned. They stir the wind, shimmer the sunlight, and call forth the first tender shoots of green. The blue butterflies remind us of interconnection. Every tree, every river, every stone carries a story. Every act of humanity, whether destructive or compassionate, touches these stories. And the butterflies, in their flight, carry the memory of all things, the wisdom of balance, and the hope of restoration. Do not mistake their fragility for weakness. Though small and delicate, they are resilient beyond comprehension. They survive storms, traverse vast distances, and appear where least expected, following the silent guidance of the earth. They are a lesson. Life is fragile, yet persistent. The spirit of renewal endures, even when hope seems lost. And now, listen again. The earth calls to those who have forgotten their own connection to her. She calls through the flutter of wings, the shimmer of blue across barren lands, the soft murmur of rivers finding their way through stone. Remember, she says, remember the song of life. Remember the cycle. Remember your place within me. Those who watch the blue butterflies see beyond the surface of the world. They see the threads that bind sky to stone, water to wind, tree to root, life to life. And in that vision, the heart awakens, the spirit is stirred, and understanding grows. Do not look only with eyes, but with awareness. Do not seek only the visible, but the subtle, the hidden, the sacred. For the blue butterflies reveal not what is obvious, but what is profound. They show the fragile beauty of balance, the delicate harmony of existence, the invisible web of life connecting all things. And when they rise in unison, painting the sky with living blue, it is as if the earth itself exhales. The mountains stand taller, the rivers sing louder, and the wind carries a message of hope across the land. Even the stones seem to shine with memory, echoing the footprints of those who honored the world before. The return of the blue butterflies is a sacred call, a gentle yet powerful reminder that life persists, that healing is possible, and that renewal is always within reach. It is a message that transcends words, reaching directly into the soul, awakening recognition of the sacred in the mundane, of beauty in the broken, of hope in despair. And so, the earth continues to speak through them, through every flap of their wings, every shimmer of their color, every flight into places untouched by human presence. She speaks to those who are ready to listen, to those who are willing to witness, to those whose hearts have not hardened. And now, lean closer to the voice of the earth, for she speaks in patterns older than memory, in rhythms unseen by hurried eyes. The blue butterflies continue their sacred journey, tracing invisible paths through the sky, over hills, across valleys, and into hidden hollows where life waits quietly, patiently, for their blessing. They rise from the soil that has endured drought, that has been pressed by human feet, that has been scorched by fire or overlooked by eyes distracted by convenience. And yet, life persists. The butterflies emerge to celebrate that persistence, to honor the patience of the world, to remind all who witness that renewal is not an act of will alone, but a gift of timing, of harmony, of respect. Watch the movement of their wings. See how they respond to the tiniest changes in air and light. Notice how they gather over water, circling streams that have been quiet too long, dipping to touch surfaces as though blessing the flow. In this, they teach us, every living thing, no matter how small, has a purpose, a role, a sacred duty in the ongoing song of existence. The elders say that when humans forget this, when hearts grow heavy with greed, despair, or distraction, the earth weeps quietly. The rivers slow. The wind falls silent. The soil becomes hardened. And yet, even in these moments, the earth waits. She waits for those willing to pause, to breathe, to witness, to honor the quiet dance of life that continues despite human neglect. The blue butterflies are her messengers. They come to places long abandoned, to valleys untouched, to meadows where silence has reigned for decades. They do not come in haste. They do not move with noise or aggression. They arrive with a grace that can only be described as sacred, as though the earth herself has lifted her voice in song through their wings. Those who are open will see not only the butterflies, but the spirits of renewal that accompany them. They walk among us, unseen, yet present, tracing invisible threads between all living beings. They touch hearts, awaken spirits, and call forth the dormant hope that lingers beneath sorrow, beneath fear, beneath forgetfulness. And the earth whispers again. See how life persists. See how beauty emerges from ruin. See how the smallest wing can carry the weight of hope. Look around you, at the hills and rivers, at the trees and stones, at the currents of air moving unseen yet ever present. All of this is alive, all of this carries memory, all of this responds to care or neglect. The blue butterflies are a sign, a symbol, a living lesson that life continues, that healing is possible, that renewal is always near. Follow them not with hands outstretched in desire, but with hearts open in reverence. Watch them dip and rise. Notice the places they touch. The earth is teaching, and only those who listen with more than eyes can understand. They remind us that everything broken can be mended. Every scar on the land has its counterpart in the hearts of those who walk upon it. Every act of destruction has a counterpoint in compassion, in care, in attention. The blue butterflies are proof that the world, even when wounded, carries within it the capacity to heal. And as they move, they teach patience. No movement is rushed, no gesture wasted. The dance of the blue butterflies is deliberate, graceful, and full of purpose. They navigate wind and shadow, sun and cloud, with a wisdom that surpasses understanding, showing that true renewal is not hurried, but cultivated with care and attentiveness. Those who witness them are called to reflect. Where in your own life have you allowed neglect, despair, or carelessness to take root? Where have you hardened the soil of your own spirit, forgetting the cycles of giving, receiving, and restoring? The butterflies do not scold, nor do they judge. They simply appear and illuminate the path forward, one fragile wingbeat at a time. Their blue is not mere color. It is the color of clarity, of reflection, of vision unclouded by distraction. It is the blue of water deep enough to cleanse, the blue of sky stretching endlessly above, the blue of eyes that see truth without distortion. When they move as one, they paint the landscape with intention, connecting mountain to river, leaf to stone, heart to spirit. And now, listen closely, for the earth's song becomes more insistent. She calls to those who have forgotten the sacred rhythms of life. She whispers through wind and water, through soil and stone, through the fragile, iridescent wings of the blue butterflies. Remember your place within me. Honor the cycles. Walk gently. Breathe consciously. Witness the renewal I offer freely. The spirits of renewal do not work in haste. They do not intervene with force. They guide, they illuminate, they accompany. The butterflies are their voice, their gesture, their movement made visible. And in their flight, a message spreads: life is resilient, hope is possible, and every moment contains the potential for healing. Even in lands long abandoned, even in hearts long hardened, even in times when despair seems overwhelming, the blue butterflies arrive. They carry no anger, no reproach, only the promise of what can be restored. They remind us that no act of renewal is too small, no gesture of care is insignificant, no moment of attentiveness is wasted. And as they circle, rising above the rivers and hills, their pattern becomes a map of possibility. A map not of places alone, but of states of being, of awareness, of connection between the earth, the spirit, and humanity. Those who watch, truly watch, begin to perceive the invisible currents that bind all things together. The rivers are no longer merely water, but carriers of memory and intention. The trees are no longer merely wood and leaf, but vessels of patience and resilience. The wind is no longer merely air, but a messenger of transformation, carrying seeds of change across valleys and deserts alike. And the earth speaks again, softer now, but no less certain. I heal. I forgive. I renew. And I call upon you to witness, to honor, to participate in this sacred rhythm. The butterflies, in their delicate persistence, teach a truth often forgotten. Fragility does not preclude strength. Smallness does not preclude impact. The most delicate forms may carry the greatest power when guided by purpose, patience, and alignment with the cycles of life. Look at their wings. See the shimmer, the motion, the light that passes through them and yet remains untouched. Notice how they seem to hum with energy, vibrating subtly with the resonance of the earth itself. Their presence is a prayer without words, a song without sound, a teaching without instruction. And those who receive it carry a new awareness within their hearts. That renewal is not only possible, but inevitable, when met with reverence and care. And now, hear more closely the voice of the earth, for her words are carried not in noise, but in rhythm, in motion, in the spaces between all things. The blue butterflies continue their sacred flight, rising from valleys, crossing rivers, skimming mountain ridges, and alighting upon meadows where silence has reigned too long. They gather over lands long abandoned, over soil cracked by drought, over streams slowed by neglect. And yet life emerges. Tender shoots push through hardened earth. Water gathers in pools where it was forgotten. The air hums softly with a melody older than memory. This is the language of renewal, spoken in the movements of wings, in the shimmer of sunlight, in the quiet resilience of life itself. The spirits of renewal walk alongside the butterflies, invisible but felt, threading through every leaf, every stone, every breath of wind. They move through the world without disruption, guiding the fragile forces of life toward balance, toward harmony, toward restoration. Look at the rivers. They are more than water. They are lifelines, carrying stories, memories, and healing energy. Where they have slowed, the blue butterflies hover, brushing the surface as though blessing it, stirring the currents to remember their song. Look at the trees. Their branches reach skyward, yet their roots delve deep into memory. The butterflies rest upon their leaves and bark, teaching that even the smallest presence can awaken awareness, that the lightest touch can inspire growth. And humanity is called to remember. The earth whispers, "You are not separate. You are part of the cycle. Your actions ripple across all that lives. Walk softly, speak kindly, act with reverence, and witness my renewal." The blue butterflies carry no judgment, only reflection. They illuminate the areas of neglect, the corners where hope has been lost, and the hearts weighed down by sorrow. They offer guidance through example, fragile, persistent, purposeful. They do not demand, they do not rush, they simply show the path of renewal, waiting for those willing to follow. Notice the color of their wings. It is the blue of clear skies after storms, the blue of deep water untouched by sediment or debris, the blue of eyes that have seen truth and returned unbroken. It is the color of hope made manifest, of renewal flowing quietly but with certainty. And when they move together as one, the landscape transforms. Mountains shimmer with memory. Rivers hum with vitality. Trees stretch higher, leaves catching sunlight with renewed brilliance. Even the smallest stone seems to hold a pulse of awareness, as if acknowledging the sacred presence of life moving freely. Those who witness this dance are gifted with a vision of interconnectedness. The currents of air, the flow of water, the growth of plants, the subtle vibrations of the earth herself, all are bound together. And the butterflies trace the invisible threads, making them visible to those who are willing to perceive. Do not misunderstand their fragility. Though delicate, they are resilient beyond measure. Storms may come. Wind may howl. Rain may fall heavy. Yet the blue butterflies endure, guided by something older than humans, older than mountains, older than the rivers themselves. This is the lesson. Fragility is not weakness. Delicacy does not diminish power. True strength lies in alignment, in patience, in movement with the cycles of life rather than against them. The earth continues to speak through them. She says, "See what I restore, and know that you too may restore. See how life persists despite neglect, despite sorrow, despite hardship, and know that your own spirit may rise in the same way." The butterfly's journey is not random. They do not scatter aimlessly. Their paths are deliberate, tracing patterns over valleys and streams, over mountains and forests that mirror the sacred geometry of life itself. Those who follow, in spirit or in observation, begin to perceive these hidden designs. They see the threads that bind life together, air to leaf, stone to root, heart to earth. And in this vision, understanding blooms. Even the smallest act of reverence matters. A whispered prayer, a hand pressed gently to soil, a moment of mindful presence, each is a note in the symphony of renewal. And the blue butterflies respond. They gather where awareness exists, flutter more brightly where patience is practiced, hover over places touched with care. This is their teaching. Healing is not only grand gestures. It begins quietly, in small ways, in moments of presence and attention. The world does not require perfection, only participation, only respect, only the willingness to witness and honor life as it unfolds. And as they circle, rising and dipping, brushing water and leaf, touching stone and air, they remind us that nothing is wasted. Every movement, every gesture, every breath carries weight in the tapestry of life. Even sorrow, even neglect, even loss can transform into learning, growth, and ultimately, renewal. The blue butterflies are a mirror to the soul. They show what is delicate, what is persistent, what is sacred. They remind us that life, though fragile, endures. They teach that hope, though often quiet and unseen, is always present. They illuminate the unseen paths of restoration, guiding all who are willing to follow with humility and reverence. And the earth whispers still, "I heal, I forgive, I restore." And you, my children, may do the same within yourselves and within your world. The spirits of renewal, though invisible, walk among us with each flutter, each shimmer, each motion of wings. They accompany the blue butterflies in their sacred task, weaving threads of awareness, awakening hearts, and illuminating the possibilities of renewal wherever they go. Even in the darkest places, even in the hearts weighed by despair, even in lands where life seems long forgotten, they appear. They carry no judgment, only the promise of renewal, only the invitation to witness, only the call to participate in the sacred dance of life. And now, hear fully, for the voice of the earth grows insistent not with anger, but with purpose, with patience, with love. The blue butterflies rise higher, their flight stretching across horizons, over deserts, rivers, forests, mountains, and plains. They touch lands that have long waited for the touch of care, lands that have been scarred by human neglect, lands that have been whispered over by wind, rain, and time itself. They gather where the soil is thirsty, where the streams are sluggish, where the air is heavy with forgetfulness. And yet life stirs. Seeds long dormant awaken. Water finds its way through stone. The wind carries a new song. The earth breathes again. The spirits of renewal walk beside them, unseen but tangible, guiding currents, whispering through leaves, stirring rivers, coaxing roots to reach deep. They move with the butterflies in a rhythm that has no beginning and no end, a rhythm older than human memory, older than the mountains, older than the stars themselves. Look at their wings. See how the light passes through them, refracted into colors beyond description. Notice how they hover over flowers yet to bloom, over stones yet to remember, over streams yet to sing. In every beat, there is a message that life persists, that hope endures, that the earth's heart continues to beat despite everything. Those who witness this are called to reflection, to awareness, to participation. The earth whispers, "See how I heal. See how I restore. See how every living thing, no matter how small, has a place, a purpose, a sacred role." And humanity is not separate from this process. Every act, every thought, every choice ripples outward, touching rivers, trees, skies, and stones. The blue butterflies are guides, teaching the lesson that presence matters, that intention matters, that care matters. They show that renewal is not only possible, it is inevitable when met with patience, humility, and awareness. Notice how they move through shadow and sun, over lands both harsh and forgiving. They do not discriminate, nor do they rush. Every motion is deliberate. Every landing is precise. Every flight is a teaching. And those who follow in spirit, who watch with awareness, begin to see the hidden patterns of life, the sacred geometry of existence, the interweaving threads of being. Even sorrow becomes part of the pattern. Even loss becomes a step toward understanding. Even decay holds the seed of new growth. The blue butterflies teach that nothing is wasted in the sacred cycle of life. All is transformed, all is woven into the ongoing song of existence. Their color, this sacred blue, carries wisdom. It is the blue of water deep enough to reflect the heavens, the blue of sky unbroken by clouds, the blue of eyes that have seen truth and returned unafraid. It is a color that touches the soul, awakens remembrance, restores courage. And the earth speaks again. Remember your connection. Remember your responsibility. Remember that the smallest gesture of care is a note in the song of renewal. Walk gently. Speak kindly. Act with reverence. And witness the dance of life. The spirits of renewal, though unseen, are felt in the trembling of leaves, in the rise of the wind, in the shimmer across a quiet stream. They guide the blue butterflies, carrying awareness, awakening hearts, and illuminating the sacred possibilities that exist in every moment. Even in the most barren places, even in hearts weighed down by grief, even where humanity has forgotten, they appear. They do not bring blame, nor fear, nor retribution. They bring possibility. They bring a mirror to the soul, showing what is fragile, what is persistent, what is sacred. They remind humanity of its own capacity to heal, to renew, to restore. And when the blue butterflies rise together, in unison across mountains and valleys, across rivers and plains, the world itself seems to respond. The wind hums a higher note. The trees reach further toward the sky. The rivers sparkle with clarity. The stones carry a pulse of memory, of presence, of life renewed. Those who witness this sacred flight are changed, not because of what is seen alone, but because of what is felt, what is understood, what is remembered. They carry awareness back into their lives, into their actions, into their hearts. And as they act with care, patience, and reverence, the cycle continues, spreading outward like ripples on water, reaching further, touching more, awakening more. Do not underestimate the power of the small. A single blue butterfly, fluttering across a meadow, can inspire an entire valley of life to awaken. A single act of care, performed with awareness, can influence countless beings. The world is alive, and its vitality responds to those who honor it. The earth continues to speak, her voice woven into the movements of the butterflies. I heal. I forgive. I renew. And so too may you heal, forgive, and renew. Every step you take, every gesture of reverence, every act of presence carries the energy of restoration. Walk in harmony with me. Breathe with my rhythm. Witness the dance of life and join it with intention. The blue butterflies are a bridge between worlds, between the seen and unseen, the temporal and eternal, the human and the divine. They remind us that life is a sacred trust, a web of interconnection, a cycle that continues beyond human sight. They carry the essence of hope, the promise of restoration, and the assurance that even after destruction, even after sorrow, the world can and will heal. The spirits of renewal, in harmony with the butterflies, teach that healing is an act of presence. It is quiet. It is patient. It is deliberate. It flows through every living being, touching soil and stone, water and wind, tree and root, heart and mind. And when humanity aligns with this rhythm, renewal becomes visible, tangible, undeniable. Even when despair seems complete, even when darkness seems unbroken, even when the world has been wounded beyond measure, the blue butterflies appear. They bring no anger, no fear, no judgment. They bring a vision of what is possible, a glimpse of restoration, a sign that the earth's spirit is alive and active, and that humanity may yet remember its sacred role. And the earth whispers one last time. Look to the sky. Look to the rivers. Look to the trees, the stones, the wind. See the blue wings. See the dance of renewal. And remember your own capacity to heal, to restore, to renew. Those who witness this sacred flight carry it within themselves. They carry awareness, reverence, patience, and hope. They carry the understanding that life persists, that healing is always possible, and that the dance of the blue butterflies is not only a sign of the earth's renewal, but a call to human hearts to awaken, align, and participate. And so, as the blue butterflies rise into the sky, as they hover over rivers, meadows, forests, and mountains, the spirits of renewal walk among us. They guide, they illuminate, they awaken. And the earth breathes again, lighter, freer, healed. In every flutter of wings, every shimmer of blue, every pattern traced across the land, the message is clear. Life endures. Hope persists. Renewal is possible. And when the dance of the blue butterflies begins, it is not only the earth that celebrates, it is every being connected to her, every heart willing to witness, every soul ready to remember its sacred place within the cycle of life. Listen, watch, feel. For in the flight of these sacred butterflies, the world is made whole again, and the spirits of renewal walk among us, forever present, forever guiding, forever whispering. Remember, heal, renew, restore, dance again.